Welcome to partialarc.com. Don't do that.
Do you want to hear a story?
I'm not letting go.
Are you ready for this? Follow your heart.
I'm going in.
This is
Blockbuster Punch-Up. This is Blockbuster Punch-Up, Episode 6. I'm your host, Jay Jones, and I'm joined by my co-host and film enthusiast, Todd G. Levin. Yay, Todd, we're here! We're here to talk about films with you.
Doing lots of Kermit Muppet hands.
That was the premise of the show. That's how we got it. That's how we got it approved.
That's how we got sponsorship.
That's how we got
from the company.
Yeah, from the company.
Right.
From the place.
From the.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right. Yeah.
You knew about that?
How was Bob?
Oh yeah. I mean, he's great. I mean, it's too bad about what happened with.
Sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. But things happen, and we're good.
And sometimes...
Hey, listen, at least we have our funding.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. He left us the...
Yeah, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
So,
all right.
Well, this is going to be the whole episode. We just speak in mysterious undertones.
The Lost episode.
We'll call it the Lost episode.
The Lost episode of Blockbuster Punch-Up.
That's
really just our Punch-Up for Lost.
Yeah, really. Yeah. Thanks, guys. And that was episode 6 of Blockbuster. And have a great...
See you later.
All right, well, guys, we're doing a special episode because...
This is a super special episode today.
Because we spent the last, 5 episodes talking about blockbusters of 2014 and what we thought and punching them up, and now
we punched them.
We punched them.
Yes,
some of us got punched.
Right,
and then we also
some of us got punched. Some of us punched. Some of us ducked. Some of us were not able to drink a can of soda peacefully. Jay,
yeah, I'm sorry about that.
And then others of us got atomic
breath in the face. Yeah, I'm still healing, as you can tell, but the color's starting to come back.
It looks good.
So I'm feeling good.
Yeah, the boils have gone down.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
that's all people used to talk about, like the boils. What's going on? And I'm like, radioactive fire breath, right? And it's just, kids, they're mean, is really what I'm trying to say.
Podcasts are dangerous.
They are pretty dangerous.
But it's now, we're getting into November,
mm-hmm.
and the summer is obviously over.
Yes.
But what we wanted to do was, we've spent, like you were saying, we spent all this time
riffing and punching up blockbusters.
And what we wanted to do was to pay homage to the ones that we thought worked this summer.
Yeah, because that's the whole point, like we said from the outset of this podcast. We're not here to just slam. We're here to make better and celebrate the blockbusters that we love.
Yeah.
And that's what we're here to do today. We're going to run through 6 different blockbusters of 2014 that Todd and I were super excited about and had a great time with. So for our first one we're going to kick off is Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
So I was a really big fan of this movie. I had problems with the first one. I don't know whether it was the effects, because they looked a little strange just watching a CG monkey in like a domestic space, and he's like a small child.
Not supposed to be here, CG monkey.
It looked a little weird, and the acting was a little strange at times, and the human element wasn't as interesting as the Caesar element, I'll call it. Whereas in the second movie, it's all Caesar all the time, and you're getting just the whole monkey world and everything. And it's really because it skips ahead in time. It is its own movie that can stand on its own. You really don't need to see the first one.
Ooh.
You could. There are moments in the second one that make allusions to the first, but you could just watch the second one by itself, and it works. And I just thought it was exciting and fun. The action was great. All of the emotional elements, the characters were really, really good. The most exciting thing about this movie to me was sitting in a theater full of regular theater goers, not an art house crowd.
Or monkey enthusiasts.
Not monkey enthusiasts. Not an
zoologists.
Not an art house crowd, not a blockbuster crowd. Sort of like in between, just normal people going to see a movie. Most of this film is either pantomimed, signed, or grunted with subtitles.
Which is amazing for a blockbuster
film. To be subtitled and have like sign language from apes and other, from a bunch of like orangutans and chimpanzees and everything that are like learning how to speak and become a civilization and society, which is in and of itself fascinating. And people were responding to the jokes, the emotional beats, and I found that to be like incredible that they nailed a summer blockbuster, nailed pathos and humor with subtitles and
literally
and
no
sign
dialogue.
language. That's incredible. One shout out to a particular scene that I thought was incredible.
Okay.
There's this tank shot. The people that have seen the movie will know what I'm talking about. Not like it's a secret or anything, but
Right.
it doesn't really reveal anything. It's just towards the end. There's this big finale. I forgot his name, but the bad monkey, the bad
Bad monkey.
chimp, he gets on one of the ones who rebel and makes a whole thing, and there's an et tu Brute moment and all
Right.
this kind of stuff because his name's Caesar. There's
Of
some
course,
really
yeah.
really good stuff.
They
going
played
on.
around with it, clearly.
He gets on this tank and the tank is like rolling into the human complex.
Mm-hmm.
And this is in the middle of a battle, towards the end of a battle, where they have just destroyed these humans and have like taken them apart. And there's this shot where the camera, you know how like a tank, the head will spin
rotates,
around
yeah.
and rotate? Well, this thing got stuck, like, because he doesn't know how to ride it. He's just going forward with it. But the thing is going around, and it just stays like almost as if mounted on the tank and goes around and around, and you just see the devastation in about 720 degrees. Like they go around like two or three times,
Right.
and you get to see the whole scene just in this like swirling kind of very slow. It is one of the more stellar images from the summer blockbuster lineup. Really, really cool moment. So for my money, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes was one of the better
A
blockbusters.
solid film.
Oh yeah, one of the better blockbusters of the summer. What's the next one?
Days of Future Past, our X-Men film,
the
X-Men
X-Men film
adventure.
of the summer, the latest X-Men extravaganza, and what was it an extravaganza?
Oh yeah, I mean, the one thing about this film which I thought was really amazing is they got to do two things. One, which was really nice, is by the end of the film they basically rebooted the films that were probably, they wanted everybody to forget about, like, X-Men 3, yeah, that didn't happen, and everybody's still alive.
As my friend said, it was a big fuck you to Brett Ratner.
Yeah, basically. No. X-Men 3 didn't happen.
It didn't happen.
They even rewrote, I think, even some things that happened from like their Wolverine movie that didn't do so well.
Origins.
It was like Origins.
Yeah.
So they were just like, yeah, all that stuff that not everybody was super happy about. Yeah, that
Then
didn't happen.
it
That's
didn't
fine.
happen because you know why?
And look,
Time
Cyclops,
travel.
Cyclops is alive at the end. A main character for X-Men. He's still alive. And
so is Jean Grey. Yeah.
And it's also like one of those things where it was almost like,
Sorry if anyone hasn't seen it.
hasn't seen it, but like.
And the Beast has this moment.
And Beast, yeah, even
Kelsey
they
Grammer
brought Kelsey
comes back.
Grammer back. I was like, oh shit, that's right. Kelsey Grammer was in that
Kelsey
movie.
Grammer as Beast in the X-Men universe is one of my favorite things. Just the fact that tossed salad and scrambled eggs is just like walking around like Fraser Crane is walking around the school of the gifted is my favorite.
I still think it was one of the better things of like the casting from X-Men 3. It was like, yeah, Kelsey Grammer's
It's
Beast.
true.
Why not?
He kills it. This movie is such a special. You've read them, right? You knew what was
Yes.
happening. Okay, I did
If
not.
anyone doesn't know, I do another podcast strictly about comics. So
I just had to ask.
No, absolutely.
Days of Future Past is a huge storyline, obviously, right? And I didn't know any of it. So
Right.
initially, in the beginning of the film, there's this amazing scene where everyone's dying, and it's so dark.
Really,
I mean, like
heads are being ripped off, like,
impalement, and just so many things are going on.
and these are our main characters.
These
for
are either
films.
main characters or new characters that we have yet to meet, and suddenly they're dying.
and then watch them die.
And then that's a great opening scene, and then they go into this other scene where there's this exposition dump.
Oh yeah.
And my friends explained to me later, it's like, well, there's like 4 books that they're trying
Yeah,
to get
there's a
through, like,
lot
right
of
there.
things. There's a lot of layers. Look, time travel movies alone have a lot of things to
Right.
explain, let alone throw in X-Men. And by the way, we got to give credit to a movie that managed to not only make one team dynamic work, which is difficult enough, but to be able to mesh 2 different teams together
Like
in
time
one
periods,
film.
2 time periods, yeah.
And wrap them together around time travel and a period piece. And
and
an
a period
X-Men
piece,
movie.
and a period piece that was done extraordinarily well.
Oh yeah.
There's a giant stadium that's lifted
Gets
and
dropped.
I mean,
it literally creates like a Thunderdome. It's like
Thunderdome.
drop the stadium, like this is where we battle.
and the Sentinels are there, and and continuing the story of Mystique, which I actually think is one of the more interesting character
Right.
arcs of at least the X-Men films, is Mystique.
And who
She's
doesn't want to
fascinating.
keep seeing Jennifer Lawrence?
And the addition of Jennifer Lawrence as Mystique, as young Mystique, is like,
Great.
I mean, just thanks.
Yeah,
because
she's awesome.
She's amazing. It's like such a great addition and almost like a no-brainer, really.
Yeah.
So all in all, like Singer and company.
Good job, guys.
Thank you for Days of Future Past, one of the best comic book movies ever.
For a series that maybe a lot of people were checked out from, some people got excited about First Class, or even like from all the Origins movies and things like that. Now people can get excited again about another X-Men film,
especially because they're going to do this Apocalypse storyline, which I've heard is insane.
It is insane.
Yeah. Either way, that's Days of Future Past.
That was Days of Future Past.
Really, really cool movie.
Really enjoyed it. Our next film on our list that we saw this summer, which is
a surprise.
Which is a surprise, but also I'm really sad because it didn't get as much of the love that I really, after seeing it, really wish that it did.
It's true. It didn't deserve maybe some of the shit talk that it got, but everyone that saw it really, really liked it.
And the poor box office. And what we're talking about is Edge of Tomorrow, the Tom Cruise film.
Yeah, the Tom Cruise Emily Blunt picture that was really, really strong.
Really fun.
I mean, I wouldn't call it like perfect or anything like that, but I mean, what do you want? What else do you want out of a blockbuster than like really cool story, really interesting setup, perhaps like a confusing hook with the whole like your blood is infused with one of the things and you can start the day and like whatever.
As complicated as those powers are, they were able to like tell us, and we like, oh yeah, we get it.
They set up the rule, and then every
time you die, very simple.
Right, very simple.
You have to die, and it will reset the day.
And just the explanation was the part that was like a little bit like, it's a little bit to ask, to believe, but okay.
Yeah, and we've all heard the thing where like, to beat the aliens, you have to just kill the big brain, and that's the way to kill the aliens. It's like, oh geez, how many times have we seen that Avengers and whatever. But it still works.
And it was, I mean, just watching this character go through, they paint a really good portrait of a coward in the beginning. He's a coward.
Nobody's on board with Tom Cruise.
Yeah, we do not like him, which, there's this thing, and I don't want to get off on a whole diatribe about Tom Cruise, but I am, for those of us that still respect him despite all the other things, but feel that we are Tom Cruise apologists because we still respect the man for his acting abilities and can see beyond other things.
He is so goddamn charming in film.
He's very charming. He's still good. Perhaps when he laughs, it's a bit creepy. It feels like staged and whatnot.
But I still feel like that's a comment on what's said outside of the film universe.
It's the context that has now made him. But, I mean, the guy knows how to choose projects. This was a really, really good vehicle for him. And as one person said, in order to incentivize people to go see the movie, if you're not down with Tom Cruise, well, he dies 100 times in this movie, so perhaps you might like this outing.
You can watch Tom Cruise get killed by aliens for an hour and a half, basically.
So we follow this coward as he is forced into battle, and then he gets like the ultimate power over this battle. And the thing that I love so much about the movie is it's not just a big shoot 'em up. Although one of the best things about the movie is that this is as live action as it gets. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you've seen these videos of like the set and how they shot some of this stuff.
Oh no, I don't think I've seen any of that.
Most of it was real.
Really?
The explosions, them in the suits. It's not like they CG'd their faces over like a suit that was...
Right, a CGI body,
They put them in a suit. They had them suspended. When they're like running really fast, they're like just... Their legs are like hovering over the air.
Because they're like holding up like marionettes. Like
exactly.
Puppets, basically.
And then they're just like being tossed around, thrown. Explosions are real. Most of the explosions that occur are 100% real.
That's awesome.
They're dropping planes on the set next to the actors. The videos of the behind the scenes of this thing are insane. But his journey of going from this coward and then learning over time that like he tries to save everybody. It's like you go through all the stages of denial.
Yeah, you do go through all this. Well, the stages of death.
The stages of death. Exactly. You're right.
We see him. Like we're anger at first. Like what's happening? Confusion.
Right.
Anger. Like I'm going to do this. Like it's not working, and none of these things are working. We try to go this way, they find us. We try to go this way, they find us.
Bargaining. And then that.
I have to say that beautiful scene
in the cabin,
where it's like we've been here before, and it wasn't like I'm trying something new, or even as much like some people give the film like some grief, like why wasn't there like a romance? It's like I still kind of like that. I like the scene that he was just like, I just wanted to have like a nice afternoon. I just wanted to have one day where we weren't trying to kill each other and die.
How many times have we been here? And he starts getting like, oh no, she's going to shoot me in the head and restart the day because this is where we always die.
Yeah.
And then at the end, close to the end, when he realizes nothing else is important.
And I love some of the I love some of the crazy creepiness of like how the aliens move. They move like these like koosh balls, like murder koosh balls, basically.
Sure, they're like octopus pod cushy
Very
thingies.
terrifying how quickly they moved and killed. It was very
Very
visceral
scary.
and scary.
Very, very scary. And exactly, visceral is a perfect word for it. I mean, that, again, watch the behind-the-scenes live-action stuff. It's insane what they had
me like the movie a lot
Emily
more.
Blunt and Tom Cruise do in these suits. It's like, it's actually really impressive.
Guys, practical effects.
Yes,
They're
they
fucking
always
awesome.
work. You feel it. You
Yeah.
always feel it.
The human eye knows. All right, well, guys, that was our basically recap review of Edge of Tomorrow.
The next one is a particular favorite
Yeah.
because there is not a single person that did not absolutely love this movie.
Which was great because a lot of people like saw it, heard about it, and were like, this looks like a big product placement, or like it could be a very kids film. And we're of course talking about the Lego movie.
Lego is all of our favorite toy,
It's so great.
obviously. I had this thing about this movie. Once we talked about this.
Yeah.
Once we saw that they were doing the Lego movie, and it's like, oh gosh, yet another. It's like we saw
Battleship
Battleship
didn't
worked
work.
out. But
Ouija just came out, I think.
but we had Chris Miller and Phil Lord
who are very funny.
who were killing it in the Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs series.
Mm-hmm.
So we got this inkling of maybe they'll do something interesting with it. Then as you started seeing the posters come
And
out,
the trailers.
you saw that they got the news came down that they got the permission to use Batman, Star Wars, all these other properties that started to tell us like there might be something special going on with this little movie. And you and I were talking about how we were predicting that this movie is going to be just a boatload of fun, but we had no clue.
Oh, no clue it was
We're
gonna be
not
like what it
prepared
was.
for how funny, how inventive, how clever, and smart a movie about plastic bricks became.
Oh yeah, and the movie didn't just, not only it was able to combine our world of playing with Legos in the Lego world itself, it managed to take the entire discussion and conversation around toys bridging ages of, you can still be old and love toys, you can
Yeah.
be young and still love toys, how they bring us all together and how we like to have fun and how we play with them. It has the whole discussion around in a hilarious movie and like a really well constructed story. And I still love the ending with Will Ferrell and the son and how it all came around to that conversation, and it was amazing.
They captured the spirit of, like you said, toys, but specifically Legos.
Yeah.
Playing with Legos. The best thing about Legos on a practical sense is there is the thing that's on the box that you can follow the directions and make, or you can use those Legos, put them in the tub with all the others, and create any number of things from those.
Oh, yeah.
That they use for, like, as part of the plot. You've got the master builders who are, like, incredible at building all these things. Then you've got Emmett, who is just this
Who only follows
by the
the
book,
rules.
by the rules kind of person, and the dichotomy between the two types of people that, like, the two types of builders. But in that world, it's just like, but then you go to the meta level and you've got this great story, this great parable of a father and a son who didn't have, I know that I had this with my own cousin. I was the one who was like, don't touch my spaceship, because I built it.
It's supposed to be this way.
It's perfect, and like, don't even touch it. And I was the annoying oppressor for my younger cousin, Alex, who would come in and
This is
just
the way it's
all he
supposed
would
to
want
be.
to do is just play with my Legos.
Exactly. Yeah, I just want to have a game. Like, can we just play with this
And I'm like,
together?
well, that's what the tub is for. Like, we'll create with the tub, but like, that thing I built with blood, sweat, and tears. And
And that's why this movie was able to have a conversation that just struck the heart of base. I can imagine everybody
yeah.
in the audience just sitting there being like, this
it
just...
tapped directly into the childhood
yeah.
of like what it felt like to play with toys, to have others play with your toys,
and to create those adventures
and
together.
to create together. That was such a beautiful thing. And then on top of that, that's just on like a meta,
That's just a meta theme level.
structure level or whatever.
The movie was hilarious.
This movie was so funny. This is such a surprise to everyone involved.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure they were even like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, whoa. And now they've slated even further Lego movies, so we're gonna get a Batman Lego movie.
Batman Lego
Just a
movie,
Batman
which could
Lego
be really
movie.
great. Also, they created. And a lot of things they were trying to do, they were doing it in jest, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were making fun of, we're doing a product placement movie. Well, let's have a movie about
Product placement.
and
Yeah.
a guy that's, and how
They-
that's evil, right? And then along with that, they created a song that was supposed to be a joke.
And everybody loved it.
And it became like, I don't know if it was played on the radio or anything.
I don't know.
I don't think it was.
Everybody was singing it for days after the movie. Like you could just start saying everything, and then everything around you, just everything is awesome. And it's just even. Yeah, I mean, God, that movie is so good.
That's a talent right there. Making fun of something and it becoming the thing that you were making fun of. That's like a talent right there.
It's very smart.
Kudos.
All right, guys. Well, that was Lego, and now on to our next film we wanted to talk about.
Yeah, both of us wanted to choose like a kind of a pick of the summer,
Right.
like one of our favorites that maybe we didn't get a chance to talk about in our past punch-ups and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So
And
Jay's is...
Mine is Captain America 2, Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
I love this
This
film.
guy, I saw this movie with this guy and he just chewed it up.
I have a soft spot, clearly. Like I said, I like comics a lot, and I have a soft spot for Marvel films, but, being in that same way, you're also one of the bigger skeptics and critics, too, because it just happens.
You are.
Yeah.
A comic book fan.
I can be,
right.
but I love just the fun of comic films anyway, so I just love it in general.
Mm-hmm.
So, but this movie was just so great. It gave me so many things. One, it changed the landscape of Marvel films going forward. It changed
true.
the universe.
It brought down S.H.I.E.L.D.
It gave me more of Captain America and the Captain America I love. They get the things that, they have the bombastic fights and battles that we love and the cool matchups, and they do it very well. I mean, some of the fights in this movie, Captain America 2, are some of the best fights I've seen at Marvel. When I think there's a brawl between Black Widow, Captain America, and the Winter Soldier on the streets, it's very visceral, very intense, and you really feel the danger. And it's stuff that I don't get as often in movies about, gods and robots and other dudes like punching and exploding buildings and
Right.
stuff. It was amazing.
Right.
But one of the parts that I really loved about this film was when it opened. And it didn't open on that scene we saw on maybe all the trailers and stuff where Captain's in the plane being like, all right, the terrorists are on the boat, we're going to drop in and kick their ass.
Right.
Like they normally
That's the
would
second
probably
scene.
do.
Yeah.
That's the second scene. No, the first scene is a quiet opening of the Falcon character running along the,
Washington
in Washington
Monument,
Monument. And then we just see, Captain America on your left, just boom, zooming by him. And it's just this fun scene of these two guys meeting for the first time, just a little bit of, what'll be that potential, future bond and friendship.
Right.
And it's just, I was like, okay, like, these guys
got
get
it.
it.
They get it.
They get this.
Yeah,
I'm in, I can relax. This movie's going to be amazing. And it was.
Jay and I have, not being a comic book person, I have come to Jay with all of my questions and
What does
my
this mean? Who's this
concerns and
character?
worries for this whole trajectory of the Marvel Creative Universe and just to things. And I have even started to read a comic book or two, and Jay is very happy about that.
Absolutely.
But my new favorite person is Captain America. I am infatuated. I've become. It's pretty safe to say that it's an infatuation at this point.
And you're surprised by this, of course.
And I have become very surprised by this. I grew up like I love Batman and I liked Spider-Man, and I watched those cartoons and I thought they were cool. Past that, I remember like X-Men was pretty cool. I watched that too. Honestly, past that, I didn't really, like Turtles was my game. Like I was like a big Turtles guy. I loved Batman and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Those are like my two things. Getting to know the Captain in these movies, starting with the Avengers, because I saw the Avengers first. Before I saw the first
other
Avengers.
films,
Yeah, the first Captain America. I went back and watched it afterwards. But like little by little in the films, the scenes and that scene, the on your left, the scene in the Avengers where he's introduced, where he like, the reveal of like the 50 punching bags that he's like, just getting warmed up kind of thing. And in the first 30 minutes of
Captain America First Avenger.
The first Avenger is just like this perfect encapsulation. There's all these moments of just the perfect encapsulation of who that character is, why he's important, why he's cool, why he's interesting, and he just, in my mind, keeps getting better and better and better.
And how you can take a character that, on the surface, someone might say, a character called Captain America,
Who
and
wears
he's just
an
like,
American flag and
he's
is
just
a
like,
complete tool.
Yeah, and he's just like, oh yeah, like how are we going to do this?
Right.
And in any other hands, it's just like going to fall apart. It's just going to be this almost a parody of itself.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, that he ends up being your favorite character is why.
And not just me.
Yeah, no. Oh, I know. I'm just speaking.
It seems
in general.
like a lot of people have,
Really love
and
Captain.
yes, women are in love with Chris Evans, but
I mean, he's very handsome.
But I will say this: casting has a lot to do with that. They nailed the casting.
Yeah, and Chris
Evans is perfect.
Just just kills it.
Hysterical. Like, he's very funny. He has that Clark Kent kind of,
Look, this is like
dorky
the best
thing going
version of
on.
Superman we're gonna get, apparently.
Jay and I actually talk about how, I brought this up the other day, that Captain America, and this is a discussion for another time, but Captain America, in a way, is almost like Superman and Batman combined. It's like the two things of DC. Yeah, take elements of both of those.
The mortality of Batman with
the
morals
center.
I mean, we can talk about this a future time, but one thing is I love about superheroes and some things is the moral victories and that willpower. And Captain America in these movies the man just oozes those moral victories, and that
it's not America, it's not patriotism, it's good.
Character.
It's just being it's integrity.
Yeah,
it's integrity. That's it's honesty, integrity. It's just everything that we all strive for. He doesn't. In fact, in this movie, he's a rebel.
Yeah.
In this movie, he's painted as, the person who's supposed to be all about the team is the one who's like, I don't trust it. Don't ask me to believe in something that I'm not going to. Right off the bat.
He challenges what could be known as the quote-unquote patriotism of the time in this film, because that's, the character's not just a blind character that just walks through like, yes, of course, America, for America, best for America, and that's why
he's
we
so
love
good.
him. It's awesome.
I mean, the guy is just the coolest dude ever. We could talk about Captain America
we could keep
all day long.
To keep us on track, Captain America 2, awesome. Our last film we wanted to talk about, though, is Maze Runner.
Yeah, I wanted to bring up The Maze Runner because not many people saw it.
True.
And I also saw Divergent and The Giver. And of the dystopian YA fiction film adaptations of this summer, The Maze Runner was the best one.
And I myself, I can admit, I haven't seen Maze Runner. I was one of the few that did not see it.
I liked the trailer. The trailer just looked interesting. And listen, maybe it's because...
Hey, mysterious mazes to me, it looked pretty cool.
Maybe it's because, I didn't recognize any of the faces. And it's not like they were trying to, shove someone down my throat as the new teen heartthrob or something like that, which a lot of them seem to do. But this one it seemed interesting to me. I liked the concept. The maze part, I was like, I'll find out what the maze thing is. But it was really just like he wakes up, he's introduced to this world, they tell him all these things, and then he's curious, as we are, what's beyond the wall.
What's going on here?
It's a metaphor for our curiosity and the fact that we need to know.
And that takes you back to, did you ever see the film The Cube?
Cube, Cube is awesome.
Which is basically, it's waking up in a giant maze, basically.
That's the horror version.
Why are
of
we
this
all
concept.
here? The horror version of Maze Runner.
And I mean, Cube is that's a special. Most people, if you're listening to this and you've seen Cube, we all have a special place in our heart for that movie because
and if you haven't,
it was
Google
played on Sci-Fi every day.
Yeah,
but it was cool. It actually was really good.
Oh, I love Cube.
And talk about production design. Mm-hmm. That was one room.
Really? They did it all in one room and just changed the pieces?
And I think it's 2 rooms, and then you just change the stuff.
Well, that makes sense, yeah. How
Isn't
it works.
That's the smartest thing ever.
That's pretty awesome.
Either way, The Maze Runner, this movie, unlike Divergent, which I thought just had problems, The Giver, which also had problems by basically screwing up the entire book. I didn't read Divergent or Maze Runner. I did read The Giver, but that is just they really messed up there by trying to make it look like a Hunger Games or Divergent or something like that. When in and of itself, it's a very, very special and simple book that they could have done. Divergent had its problems, I believe, with just sort of the ridiculousness of the society. You're told all these things and I just didn't buy it right off the bat, and plus the relationship I thought was kind of silly. And
that's something, of course, we can dive into a little bit more maybe in a future punch-up.
Do you think we should do a punch-up for Divergent?
Maybe.
Yeah, perhaps Divergent deserves, because that was a big movie this summer. Either way, the Maze Runner begins in a wonderful fashion. This movie is just all old school suspense. Mm-hmm. You wake up, you have no clue who you are. We as the audience. Right. We wake up as this kid. He is told welcome to the, I forgot all the terminology, but it's welcome to the green, and he's he gets shown this place, and then he's told the rules, and then slowly we get these little bits of information where he starts to ask questions, and then he goes out and he ventures for himself, and he makes active decisions as a protagonist,
right?
And then it becomes this whole thing where yes, he brought upon some of his the recourse of his actions bring upon certain things, but he is a special, there's a reason that he did it, and all this stuff, and
you have intrigued me, Todd. I've got to see this film.
It's such an interesting movie. In terms of just dystopian YA fiction or whatever, very, very interesting. And the puzzles, kind of fascinating. You know, it's not a perfect movie or whatever, but for my money, for like that genre of filmmaking, of that kind of deal, I thought it was wonderful. And it doesn't pull any punches. There are people that you start the film with that you care about, that you end where they are not there anymore.
Oh, okay.
And then there are other people that you're still along for the ride, and you're like, well, I suppose I'll get to know who you are in the sequel, because there's going to be 2 sequels to it. It did relatively well.
Well enough.
Yeah, well enough to garner a
sequels.
sequel. So I'm just a fan. I'm on board for that, and that's my pick for the summer. Besides these amazing films,
right?
You know, just one of those, because I think this whole dystopian YA situation deserves talking about, because it's this big deal. And since Hunger Games has now decided to move to the November award season,
it's changing a lot of things up.
It's changing a lot of things,
and that
the blockbuster itself is sort of
evolving and changing. That brings us, guys. Again, if you didn't see those films that we just talked about, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, Days of Future Past, Edge of Tomorrow, or Live, Die, Repeat. The Lego Movie, Captain America 2, Maze Runner, and we haven't ruined it for you. Check it out.
And you still want to see it.
Even so. But yeah, you're right. The blockbuster is evolving. It is changing. And
with the state of the box office, the summer box office.
And it's not just, hey, May to August is when to go buy popcorn and just watch shit explode. Like, it's the blockbuster, not only itself is evolving, but also when we're seeing it.
Right. I mean, they made this really interesting move with the Hunger Games series. The first one came out, I believe, in May or June of a few years ago. And then with this second one, they just moved it to November.
Yeah.
The next 2 are going to be in November. Obviously, to reap the benefits of award season. Mm-hmm. But how interesting is that? That a dystopian YA, big, huge adaptation of a book that's just rife for a summer blockbuster fare
is making its way to award
season because we're more comfortable with, I guess, these big comic book adaptations, and the fact that they're worthy of winning awards. That's a whole interesting thing, and is gonna it's started to already, obviously started to change the box office, and will be a way that we can keep this show rolling, because no longer the blockbuster is no longer relegated to the summer.
Yeah,
we have blockbusters coming out year round now.
It's basically changing, the studio model and how the movies are being released and how it's evolving is rapidly changing from what we saw 10 years ago.
Oh yeah,
and it's exciting.
It's exciting. It's strange. There's a lot of things going on. I do believe in this idea that Spielberg and Lucas posited that, like, we may be heading towards a implosion of sorts.
Yeah, we might be,
because we all were, the phase 3, Marvel's phase 3 was just like blew everyone out of the water.
It's huge. And with DC just prior to that, there's a lot of conversation going on. Like, okay, they've talked about it for a while. Comic book movies, are they going to become oversaturated? Is that blockbuster type going to become oversaturated? And with Phase 3 being announced, with DC making
with
a billion movies
4 years into the future,
4 years into the future,
5 years into the future.
Something we've never. The Batman versus Superman conversation, that's been happening for almost 2 years now,
right?
And that movie's not coming out until 2016. 2016, and we've got set photos of it. Batman's picture and cape and costume was released half a year ago. 2 years from now,
in an age where we talk about retention, basically attention retention, and all these things.
How long do you amp people up? How long do you get that hype? People are just on crack for 2 years waiting for this release.
It's interesting, how they're doing this with, they have a slate lineup for 2019. 2019?
It's so far.
That's the future, man.
Yeah.
That sounds like the future, because it's 5 years from now, and that's crazy that we're already talking about it. But that's when Infinity Wars is coming out. We just want to let you know.
Just let you know, this is how you're planning your life for the next several years.
Exactly, and that kind of changes the nature of that year, the films that are made in the meantime that want to maybe also be released that year. It changes everything.
And even the nature of blockbusters themselves being these big tentpoles, they're not necessarily big tentpoles themselves. They're now these long connected webs stretching years and years. It's almost like
specifically with the Marvel Creative Universe.
Oh yeah, it's like a massive version of television and miniseries
Right.
and things like that, but now expanded to years and years instead of seasons.
They've serialized the blockbuster
Which is
into
crazy.
a massive story, and no one, I don't think anyone was prepared for it or really knew exactly what was up their sleeve or how they were going to do it. Especially myself, until the Avengers, the only Marvel film that I have just 100% loved.
Oh yeah,
I have
it's
had
one of the
problems
best
with,
movie-going experiences I've ever had.
in our lifetime. That was like one of the best blockbusters. It was just incredible. It was
Oh, yeah.
so much fun, and you finally understood. Oh, that's what they've been talking about this
That's what
whole
they've been
time.
doing.
There's all these movies, and everyone has, some people have their favorites, and here and there, and then suddenly the Avengers comes out, and it just makes sense. Then Phase 2, now Phase 3. It's this huge, sweeping, epic
Oh, yeah.
story that they're telling, and that's really bold and
Really exciting.
Maybe will we get tired
Yeah,
of it?
will it get? I mean, to a point where if you're relying all of these films to build up your later films that are all millions and hundreds of millions of dollars, if you have a bad one in there somewhere, is that going to kill the whole rest of the group? I mean, there's a lot of questions, but
Yeah.
right now it's like, we still love it, but who knows?
Right, we
It's-
don't know, and it might reach just hit a wall by the
Yeah,
end of it.
We'll see.
But
Maybe
the fact of the
2020
matter
will
is-
be like, okay, I'm ready for some from Jerry Maguire films again, guys.
Oh,
let's
gosh.
let's dial it back.
But the fact of the matter is,
The world has been blown up 15 different times in the last 5 years.
But the fact of the matter is, we're still going to go buy the ticket.
Yeah.
We've already bought it. That's
mean-
how I look at it. We've already bought that
Yeah,
ticket.
guys.
So
I
they
mean,
know.
There's a reason why we're doing a podcast called Blockbuster Punch Up.
Absolutely.
We love Blockbuster.
We
so
love Blockbusters.
On our
They're
end,
super fun.
we're still down with it. We're still pumped. And guys, I think that kind of brings us to the close of our 6-film review and our discussions of the blockbusters of 2014.
Absolutely.
So like we do in every episode, we're going to come to our very special version of Blockbuster Smash Up.
Smash, 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 smash,
We are now about to play our very super special Super Smash Up.
Two supers.
Did I give enough of a lead up
Yeah,
on that?
I loved it. I enjoy both supers.
Yeah.
Super special, super smash up. We decided for this one, instead of we usually do for our smash ups, universally accepted good film and universally accepted bad film. In this iteration, in our super special super smash up,
Thank you.
we trademark.
Yeah,
Jay
trademark,
Jones.
please.
We wanted to split up and do two time-honored, big-budget blockbuster movies
That we both love.
that we both love. But in order to choose which one, in order that we didn't overlap,
Yeah.
we split it up into two eras. The classic era, which would be anything from the 70s to what,
1999, yeah. Anything pre-2000, basically.
And then the modern era, which is 2000 and on.
Yep. Todd has the modern
I
era.
have the modern era, and I chose something from way back when, right at the cusp at the year 2000.
Oh, wow.
So that
I
might be
might have a
interesting.
guess. Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah.
Because, again, just like we do our smash-ups, Todd doesn't know what I've selected, and
right.
I don't know what Todd has selected. And I, again, have picked something. I'll say mine was, I believe,
what
somewhere
decade?
around... It was around the 80s.
Ooh, so
So,
many good things in there.
yes, yes.
So,
So
what we do is we'll
We'll count to three, and then
count to three and
we'll
say them at the
smash
same
them up
time,
like we
yeah.
do. All right, so on the count of three. One, two, three. Batman.
Gladiator.
Oh, jeez. Okay, so you did Gladiator, and I
Gladiator,
did Tim Burton's
and you
Batman.
did Tim Burton's Batman. Whew. Two
very, I mean,
similar kind of films,
Yeah,
but
so, I mean,
obviously very different.
we open up in a gladiator-esque of old Roman times. We still have, was it Claudius? It was Claudius,
it was
right?
Marcus Aurelius.
Marcus Aurelius.
That's right.
Well, no, not the. Is that the
father.
young one?
No, the
but
father.
not the father. What about the young one who becomes Joaquin Phoenix's character?
Joaquin Phoenix. He is shit.
New Caesar, Little Caesar.
He's not Claudius.
I know he's not Claudius.
Commodus.
Okay, Commodus. And we open on this film, and he's, everything has happened in Gladiator like we remember. Shit goes wrong. Commodus has become
the Maximus
as the emperor.
is like the
Maximus has returned to the city, but
Got
he
it.
hasn't returned as a. Well, no, he does return as a gladiator. He trained with the gladiators fighting, but he returns
with Ra's al Ghul and the gladiators
Ra's al Ghul
of Asia
of Asia,
and the East.
and he returns to take back the city. But he knows Commodus is deathly afraid of superstition, so we get. a Roman version of Batman.
Well, there's capes. It
Yeah.
works. There's
Yeah, they've got
capes. You
capes.
just like he's wearing black instead of like the royal purple.
Right.
Right. So it's like he's wearing the black, and maybe it's Are there? I'm sure there are bats in ancient Rome.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
But maybe it was more like the like a Hydra. What's a ancient Roman beast or something like that they could have.
I mean, a Hydra's a good example. A Cyclops, a Medusa, like a Gorgon or something.
Medusa Man. Hydra Man or something like that.
I don't know if there's like a
Cerberus Man.
Cerberus
Yeah,
Man.
he's got 3 like dog heads.
3.
And he comes in. He's the watchdog of the night.
The watchdog of the night, Cerberus Man.
Cerberus Man.
And he, maybe he shows up in one of the gladiator arenas and beats all of the evil ones
in incognito, of course.
Incognito. He's
Nobody
in his
knows,
Cerberus
Commodus
outfits.
does not know that Cerberus Man is actually Marcus Aurelius.
It's actually Marcus Aurelius.
Maximus.
Maximus. Who maybe he has returned, and it's not revealed that he's actually Maximus. He's come back as a rich, maybe like he claims to be another rich traveler.
He's come back as a gladiator. He's come back as like one of the prize fighters.
One of the prize fighters,
Yeah,
right.
Right.
And Commodus has obviously welcomed him to
because
be like,
he's bloodthirsty, Commodus is bloodthirsty.
So Maximus is actually playing both sides. He's playing the hero, and he's also playing the quote-unquote, not villain, but he's playing to that villainous side to get close to Commodus in his personal life.
So the Bruce Wayne.
So his Bruce Wayne
Right.
is this kind of... he's playing a nefarious character to get close to Commodus personally. And
Right.
then he's also... And he's, of course, Cerberus Man.
Meanwhile, one of the biggest villains of this world, Jokerismus Maximus.
And the Jester is the great showcaseman of all of these gladiatorial events. Maybe he's the one in charge of putting on these like grandiose shows of death and carnage, basically.
That's right, yeah.
If we made a change, if he was Hydra Man, he could actually have the line of, "It doesn't matter if you kill me, like the Hydra. If you cut off one head, another of us." Look, we already talked about Captain America in this episode. We might as well have Hydra play 2 places.
And how does the film end?
The film ends... I mean, it has to end in the gladiatorial arena.
In Batman, Jack Nicholson is like, he unleashes a serum to make everyone like crazy,
he's trying to drive everyone crazy with the gas. So maybe in the audience at this big last gladiatorial event, the end of the season...
Bread and circuses. He
What?
passes out poisoned bread.
Poisoned bread to everyone in the crowd.
Because in Roman times, like, you had to keep the people happy with panem et circenses.
Oh, yes.
Bread and circuses. So, like, he's the ringmaster of the circus, but the bread that he passes out, like, from Commodus, in his way to make Commodus, to bring down Commodus, he poisons the bread.
Right, so that he can be the one to maybe take place or put shame on Commodus.
You got Cerberus / Hydra Man against the ringmaster of the gladiatorial death match, the Joker Maximus, and the two of them fight to the death while everyone is vomiting.
All of you historians rolling your eyes, please send all letters to
We're so sorry.
ToddIsGoodAtHistory.com.
We're so sorry.
We're so good. All right, guys. Well, this concludes episode 6 of Blockbuster Punch Up and our review of and comments on our favorite films and blockbusters of 2014. Now, before we end this episode,
Yes.
you might have noticed 2 films that we were left out of our conversation for favorite films or films to discuss.
Some glaring omissions.
One, you might expect Transformers, right? Now, we don't have much to say about Transformers.
In fact,
if you expect
neither of us saw it.
Neither of us saw it.
Because at this point,
Look,
the Transformers
you know what it
films,
is.
you know what those are. Listen, maybe they could be works of art at this point.
Right.
Big works of art of mass destruction and whatnot. But we already know that Transformers is not attempting to make
blow
story
us away with character development
or story to make story or character development
touch
a priority.
us emotionally. It's to watch Optimus Prime kill as many robots on screen.
And dinosaurs are now a thing, and so it's really not. But the other glaring omission,
which some of you might be wondering, guys, you've got these list of 6 things, and you got Maze Runner in there. You've got even Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
What about
where
is Guardians of the Galaxy?
Is Guardians of the
and
Galaxy?
This is a very good question, and that's something that we're actually going to be answering on our next episode of Blockbuster Punch Up, episode 7. We will be punching up. That's right,
of the
Guardians of the Galaxy. So join us in 2 weeks for that. But guys,
It's
again,
time.
It is time.
It's time. We've been enough time that we can talk about Guardians with everyone chopping our heads
With
off.
everyone killing us. So, guys, this concludes, again, episode 6 of Blockbuster Punch-Up. We'll be posting a new episode every other week. Please leave us a review or any comments on iTunes. Again, this helps people find the show and really get us out there. And if you'd like to download more episodes or check out other similar podcasts, head over to partialarc.com. That's ARC with a C. Of course, you can email us any questions or history rebuttals.
Cerberus Man is going to figurines are on sale.
Yeah,
at
are
the
on
website.
sale. And please email us at blockbusterpunchup@gmail.com. And again, of course, you can follow Todd on Instagram and Twitter at TG11.
There you go.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening, and join us on the next episode of Blockbuster Punch-Up.
Let's go home.